All right, 3 arguments in 3 minutes. One, I believe that for the transatlantic partnership, the United States, the liberal world, the free world, isolation is the better strategy to achieve our national and international interests than all the alternatives. And I want to be clear about this. There's a lot of confusion sometimes, well, certainly when I worked in the government for 5 years, about means versus ends. Isolation is a strategy to achieve something, as is engagement. It's important to define, what are you seeking to achieve? What are your objectives? And this has changed over time, over decades for my country, but I would argue today for the objectives that are most important for the United States of America, vis-a-vis Russia, isolation helps us achieve our objectives better than engagement. So building a free and sovereign Ukraine. Does engagement with Russia or isolation help us achieve that end? Obviously, in my view, isolation is better for achieving that. Dealing with China. Isolation, in my view, helps us achieve our long-term objectives vis-a-vis China rather than engagement with Russia. Energy security. I was in the Obama administration. I worked in the campaign. I wrote a memo in the fall of 2008 why we should seek energy independence from Russia. And because we still believed in engagement, we didn't do that. Today, I think it's crystal clear isolation helps us achieve that objective, and maybe in questions we'll get into others. 2 more arguments I want to make as the clock ticks very quickly. Second, if you're going to argue for engagement, and I'm just dichotomizing in the interest of time because it's on a spectrum, but if you're going to argue for engagement, there are costs to engaging Mr. Putin today, particularly, I would say, to the values that we've been talking about in this conference for the last 2 days. And particularly, I would say, for Europeans who do not have the same baggage that Americans do when talking about values. Are you going to normalize annexation in the name of getting along with Putin? Are you going to forget about human rights and shake the hands of the guy that slaughtered hundreds, thousands of people in Mariupol? That's a trade you have to take. And then third, it takes 2 to tango. And Putin is not interested in engagement. He likes isolation, and therefore pursuing engagement will lead to failure. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael McFaul.